you were really had this really amazing conversation, and I believe it's on your channel still, or it's on the Black Blockchain Summit. And you were talking about bringing peace to the world. And there was this whole conversation about, do people even want peace, or do they want wealth? And I know one of the reasons that I believe so much in your IP is because I love your heart behind it, that the girl in, Uganda that has the bowl is able to have the same chance and opportunity in the markets as, the big guy on Wall Street. And that, that it just makes an even playing field. And to me, that's a peaceful world, that we all have a chance for happiness, but I wanted to give you a chance to kind of finish that conversation. And can we have peace in a world? Is it eliminating poverty that brings us peace? Do we want peace if we can't have wealth?
Well, that is a long, I don't think it's convoluted, but it's a fairly lengthy discussion. And it has to start with, first, identification, definition of terms and semantics. For instance, peace. Peace, I think, if you use a Webster's definition, would be calm, serenity, or the absence of war, conflict, strife, and violence. Okay? Those who say they're living in peaceful times are usually those who are the victors of the last conflict. So the losers of the conflict are very rarely, those who say we're living in a peaceful time. They don't have peace, they have defeat. And it is the victor of the conflict that usually defines what peace is. So when you look at it, peace is a fluid term, and that fluid usually flows downstream, down from those who won the conflict. And those who lose a conflict say, I don't feel peace, I feel oppression, I feel a boot on my neck, etc. Look at most socioeconomic conflicts everywhere. You can look in the U.S., the African slave trade, the plantation owner says, hey, look, these guys are living in peace. The slaves think very, very differently. You could look at Asia with the invasion of the UK, the British monarchy, into China, Japan, Africa, everywhere. You can look at inter-European conflicts, Central Europe. Look at the Germans and I don't want to get into things that'll sidestep the discussion or the argument, but, we all know what the Germans were accused and apparently did do during the World War II era. And, while they say there is peace, those who they may have subjugated will definitely disagree. So if you can get past defining what peace is, okay, and what war is, and then move toward to what will cause conflict, right, or something that could result in peace, you get through an entire new discussion that takes a lot of time. I can't go through it here, but I can give you a synopsis of what I started at the Black Blockchain Conference. The sun, which we can't see here, so the overcast, is the primary source of energy for the Earth, for this particular planet. That energy comes from the sun to the Earth, and that energy is embedded in every form of life, from the most basic protists, bacteria, viruses, etc., one-cell organisms, to and that energy lives within them. Okay, it's consumed and taken. That energy is sought after by everybody else. It's within intra-species competition, right? Different viruses, different protists and bacteria, and interspecies competition, where you have entities that feed upon those plants, let's say, and then you have herbivores that feed on those plants to take the energy from the plants. You have carnivores that feed on those herbivores to take energy from those herbivores. You have larger carnivores that feed on the smaller carnivores in search of their energy. And then you have apex predators, that feed on even those carnivores to take the energy. And then those apex predators and all these carnivores and herbivores compete with each other indirectly and directly. And that competition, right, for energy leads to conflict. And that conflict leads to a lack of peace. If you have enough energy to go around and you have enough of the supporting infrastructure, right, that supports this energy transfer, then you have peace. An example of the supporting infrastructure would be space, soil, water, air, etc. If everybody had all the energy and all the supporting infrastructure to support that energy transfer, you have peace. Unless you are one of those herbivores that got eaten by a carnivore, or one of those single cell organisms that got eaten by the plant, or that got eaten by the herbivore, or the herbivore that got eaten by the carnivore, the larger carnivore that eats a smaller carnivore, etc. So again, you see, if you look at the entire ecosystem, it's very difficult to simply boil it down to peace and violence and peace and war. Now, to make it even more complex, the apex predator on the planet is the human being. Man, not because he's stronger or bigger fangs or faster, but he is arguably smarter, more organized. And he found a way. I don't know why I'm saying he, since technically there are more women on the planet than men. So it should be she, but I'm in the weeds because that's how I think. Okay. So she found a way to actually create a proxy for this energy. And that proxy for the energy is currency. So now you can use this proxy for energy, which is currency, to buy and sell energy, or steal energy, buy and sell the infrastructure that supports this energy and energy transfer: air, land, soil, water, shelter, etc. And now you can actually use it to buy and sell energy directly, people's direct labor, which is actually energy. But what makes this different is a proxy, the currency as a proxy for energy, and the things that support infrastructure that supports energy, shelter, land, etc. It's not energy itself. It's a proxy. So the more this currency you make, the less that currency is, and the less valuable that currency is. And so the more that currency you need to affect transfer of energy or infrastructure. And the more that you make, the less valuable it is, the more intense the competition has to be for it, because you get less of it per unit. That brings upon conflict, war. Now, I can carry this conversation on for a while, because you can also discuss the new age of currency.